Good evening, everyone. I'm Evan from Checkbox, a company that is going to be transforming the way that professional services deal with regulation. Regulation it's messy, it's boring, no one really likes it, even the people who wrote it. But the regulation and compliance actually costs the Australian economy $250 billion a year, with the sector that's most significantly affected being professional services. Now, the problem isn't that we don't have the expertise to deal with this regulation. We do. The problem is that this expertise typically resides within an individual or a small group of individuals. So what that means is that, well, one, there's no efficient way for them to disseminate that information across their organization or the broader industry. Two, there's a limited bandwidth that they have to deal with all the day-to-day actions that they have to complete. And three, the expertise leaves with them when they leave the firm. It's kind of like corporate amnesia. So the thing is, these professionals are trained accountants, they're trained lawyers, but they're not technologists, which means that they don't necessarily have the skills to codify their experience. So they resort currently to tools that they're comfortable with using, things that are accessible, things like Word and Excel. Now, these tools are great, but they're not built for digesting regulation. So let me give you a very specific example that will really resonate with all the accountants in the room. In 2018, there is this big complex, I can see faces going off already, there is this big complex regulation called the International Financial Reporting Standards, or IFRS, and it's being rolled out. So you can imagine all these firms, and it's global, it applies to small and large businesses. You can imagine all these people running around trying to wrap their heads around this regulation in the few months they have left. And one of the customers that we were working with were trying to simplify this regulation by using Excel. I'll show you what they did. They took the regulation, which looked like this, okay, and they converted it into 50 Excel spreadsheets, each of which look like this, okay? Each cell has a clause in it, and you read it, you go to another it gives you an action, it says go to this cell now. You read that cell, and it says, well, go back to, the list of spreadsheets, pick another one, and you go through and you basically repeat this process until you get to an outcome. And they were doing this with their clients, right? So this is super messy, it's unworkable, and it's a terrible customer experience. So what they did was they used Checkbox and they converted this into this. It's a software that walks you through the regulation question by question. And by taking a particular action, it takes you down one path of a very big decision tree. We have on the right-hand side tips. It allows you to build in definitions, examples, or links to external resources that help you answer the questions on the left, and comment boxes that allow you to put in any sort of comments to justify the decisions that you are making along the way. Now, it's not just yes and no's. We have form elements to capture information. We have dynamic tables that are able to render information in a particular way and also do quite complicated calculations, and other elements as well. Now, after a few clicks, you end up at the transcript. It's an audit trail of all the questions you've been asked, your responses, and the comments that you made along the way. You can even produce completely automated documents that populate depending on how the user went through the journey. You can obviously download this or send it off as an email. Now, don't get confused, this is not Checkbox itself. This is actually the piece of software or an example of software that you build using Checkbox with no coding whatsoever. No programming skills or technical skills to build a piece of software like this. The way you do that is think of Checkbox as a digital transformation tool that takes regulation, typically in the form of legislation and standards, and converts that into a ready-to-use application in the cloud, completely white-labeled. You do this using our drag-and-drop studio, where introducing a new page to the application is as easy as drag-and-dropping a block and rewiring the arrows. Now, what this meant for our customers is that now they don't actually spend months of time building software to tackle some of their most pressing issues, and not a team of developers. Now they can build solutions like this in a matter of days, and we have actually had success building applications in a matter of hours, which otherwise would have taken months. So it's a massive quantum leap, I guess, in being able to build very bespoke software in the business world. Not only that, it's able to react very quickly to regulatory change. Regulation changes all the time. It's very important that software can keep up with that. Changing software on Checkbox is as easy as, again, jumping onto Studio and editing a few fields. But using Checkbox isn't just about the digitization of regulation. There's a lot of benefits that flow from that. For example, the data analytics that you get. For example, you can say 20% of users said yes to this question, whilst 80% said no. You can build industry, you can basically look into industry trends and therefore write thought leadership pieces or gain business advantage. Sending your client now a link to your Checkbox-powered software rather than a folder full of spreadsheets improves the customer experience. And finally, we have this very sophisticated account management system that allows you to actually deploy your Checkbox-built solutions to your customers, which turns it into a revenue-generating tool as well. So we're starting with the large enterprise, which seems a bit strange, but it's because the large enterprise have the expertise and the credibility to actually partner with us to build these solutions out. We're also going to be leveraging their partnership to be able to essentially buy into our long-term vision, which is to build an applications marketplace where all businesses, including SMEs, can jump on and purchase applications built by subject matter experts. The go-to-market strategy currently is mainly direct sales, but to scale, we are planning to partner with a lot of system integrators, industry leaders, and professional bodies as well. We want to go international, focusing on Asia first of all, and then moving on to US and Europe. We actually already have interest in Hong Kong and New York. So we're quite successful for the short amount of time we've been around. We have a few top-tier clients working with us, including Big Four accountancy, top 6 legal firms, as well as a global rating company. And while we're pre-revenue, we are actually very close to closing our first 6-figure deal. So that's very exciting. Our revenue model is very simple. It's a simple licensing fee based upon the number of solutions that you build, with a small clip of the ticket if you make money from the platform. So skipping through to the team. So myself, I'm the CEO, and this is the second time that I've started a venture. I've actually left law and management consulting to go into technology, and my co-founder, James, CTO, he has a background in design, engineering, and software. Very last slide, I know I'm over time. Checkbox was recently announced RegTech of the Year, which is super exciting. And when you work with Checkbox, essentially what we do is we help your organization minimize your compliance costs through automation. We help you generate revenue. We help you be able to streamline all of your processes using best-of-breed practices in order to manage quality risk, and also enhance that customer experience by providing you with more digital client touchpoints. And finally, we can help you retain your top talent through refocusing their work on more interesting and rewarding work. So Checkbox is going live in a month. So it'd be great if anyone in the audience, if you wanted a demo afterwards, love to provide you one, because it's ready to go. We're super excited, and thank you for your time. Thank you.
Hey, Evan, well done, mate. How do you feel?
I would like to have done it with a bit less rushing at the end, but feel good. Feel very good.
Cool. All right, quick question from me, mate, is clearly the product has quite a lot going for it in terms of conceptually what it can do. But how do you, when you're discussing this with potential clients, how are you translating that into specific value in terms of the structural cost takeout that the platform's actually providing for the business?
Yeah, thanks. Great question, Alex. So one of the best ways we've found to demonstrate value is actually to offer a proof of concept. And we do that at risk at our business. And what that basically means is we ask them for a problem that they are currently facing, which means that it's front of mind for them. We then are able to build it on the Checkbox platform and deliver that so that they can actually frame the value of Checkbox in a problem that they are currently thinking of in their day-to-day business. And so very quickly they're able to almost see the value straight away in terms of the cost saving. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that very expensive for the business? Well, actually, the whole point of Checkbox is that it can build very quickly. So, for us to build BOCs, it's a very small kind of customer acquisition cost in order to demonstrate quite a large amount of volume of value for our customers.
Thanks, Evan. Good job.
Thanks, Cara.
So once you go from the POC, what's the revenue model after that?
Sure. Yeah. So the POC, like I said, is free. But where we move off of that is we have so the whole point of the POC is to minimize the amount of risk that our customers have to take on in order to try the product. We have a lot of confidence in our product, which means that we're not afraid to basically show it. After they basically see the product, the next stage would be to then move on to our per module or per solution pricing. And we price that quite palatable at the moment. We understand that there are different types of use cases that all generate different sort of values. So we want to be, I guess, as broad, we want to paint a very broad paint stroke in terms of the use cases we can capture. But ultimately, we want to actually move our customers onto a subscription model, which we call the all-you-can-eat model. It's an unlimited deployment of solutions of the Checkbox platform. So what we hypothesize is because Checkbox is so flexible, and this has kind of been proven with our earliest customers, they don't only see one solution they solve, right? They'll often very quickly think, wait a second, what about the tax division? They'll love this as well. What about the auditing division? It'd be great for them because they're working on this project. And so the idea is to move all our clients onto an all-you-can-eat unlimited model, where they just pay one fixed price to deploy unlimitedly.
Cool. Evan, how long does it take a 45 to 55-year-old partner at a law firm to navigate the platform?
Sure, thanks, Kaplan. So that's I mean it's a great question, because at the end of the day, funnily enough, these experts are at that level. You know, you wouldn't be getting your junior staff to be building out these decision trees. It would be at the director or partner level. And the whole premise of Checkbox is to build a solution that is easy to use. To answer your question directly, I would say with about a 2-minute briefing, a partner at 45 to 50 in a law firm could already begin building out, you know, a solution straight away, you know, after 2 minutes of briefing. But if they really want to use the platform to its entirety, I would estimate around, you know, no more than 2 hours of familiarizing themselves to actually build a full-fledged business application. It's a big call, but again, if you don't believe me, I'd love to give you a demo.
Fabulous. Thanks very much, Evan.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Okay, fabulous, Evan. So now we've got another exciting entrepreneur to take the stage. So I'd like to invite Alistair Blinken from Blink Tech. Alistair.